Welcome to this week's Powerback episode. Today, look, I know you've got a lot of shit to do. You've got a to-do list, you've got your dreams, you've got your desires, you've got all the things that are happening every single day, and it can get really overwhelming really quickly. I don't know about you, but one of my tendencies is to just shut the fuck down. Turns out, though, that doesn't really help anything. So today's Powerback episode is all about helping you find clarity and momentum even when you're feeling overwhelmed, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. Because that heightenedness, that bigness, that like, oh, I have 400 things. Where do I direct my attention, my energy? If we can clear that up and get you some direction, that to-do list goes away pretty damn quickly. Download Powerback episode 176 on your favorite podcast player or go to thegutsypodcast.com and don't forget to hit subscribe. Before we dig into getting momentum and clarity, I want to remind you that tomorrow is the last day to register for the Mindfuckery Workshop, which runs from September 11th through the 15th, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look, if you have been looking for something to help kickstart the next chapter of your life, to help you close out some lingering things, to break habits or patterns, and just to get reconnected with who you are and what you actually want, then the Mindfuckery Workshop is right up your alley, my friend. This is a casual yet action-packed week where we are going to hold space together to learn about your habits, your tendencies, your resistance, reconnecting with your inner child and your higher self, reframing the things that are happening in your mind, and then having the tools to be able to shift your mindset in the moment instead of that shit taking you down a wild goose chase down a black hole. One of my favorite testimonials from the last class was a gal that said, I just didn't realize how simple this could be. And this has changed everything for me. So simplifying things, getting clear in your mind, and getting the things that you desire in life and in your business. I mean, what more could you ask for? So go to LauraAura.com, click on the banner at the top of the website, and I'm going to see you in class really, really soon. All right, my friends, let's dig into getting momentum and clarity. And I just want to humanize the fact that like everyone is going through so many different things, and we truly can't understand and comprehend the past challenges that people have faced, the things that they're thinking about for the future, what's currently happening in their situation. And you are one of those people, right? Like you've got stuff going on, and yet you're also continuing to move forward. And it's sometimes moments when everything kind of piles in and you're like, shit, there's a lot going on. I'm not sure where to focus my time and my energy. I'm not sure what to do next. I'm feeling really overwhelmed. The to-do list seems to be glaring at me. And you know what I'm going to do? Maybe none of it. In the Mindfuckery Workshop, we spend a good deal of time talking about tendencies. And in this type of situation, one of my tendencies when things get kind of big and feeling out of control is to shut down, is to disconnect, stop doing things, pull away from it, like out of sight, out of mind. In fact, I did this just earlier this week. And I'm like, well, isn't that serendipitous that I live an experience that I get to then use as an example on the podcast? And FYI, that's where most of these episodes come from, either from your situations or mine or both of ours. So earlier this week, I'm looking at our project management system in my business, and I'm seeing all the things that need to happen, right? There are some deadlines, there's some movement happening, there's some big shifts that are coming up, really great things. And I could just kind of feel all of it like glaring at me. And I wanted in that moment to just shut down and pretend like it didn't happen. But what I want to acknowledge in this moment is that you are greater than the tendency. You are greater than the moment, and you are greater than the fucking to-do list. It's in the moments like this where we feel out of control that we're like, everything is spinning. Control is such a perception because we want to have our hands wrapped around every single thing. But there's so much in the trust, and there's so much knowledge, wisdom, and power in the moment, in the process, in the messy action. So I saw the tendency. I was like, okay, I have awareness, right? We go through the Powerback process. If you've not yet heard of that, go back a couple of episodes. I walk you through it. But awareness is always the first key. The Powerback process is an acronym, AURA, and the first piece of that is awareness. We cannot change what we are not aware of. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? What is something that my higher self can guide me to in this moment that not only can help me, but maybe is something that I can teach others? So I got quiet for a minute. I got still. I got a piece of paper and I just started to write. Okay, what are some practical fucking things that I can do right now? And I very quickly came up with 3 things that changed the fucking landscape. And because I practice what I preach before I teach, I tried it out, works like a fucking charm. And that's what I'm going to give you today. So before we get into these 3 very simple yet insanely fucking effective things, let's back the truck up for a second because we must first acknowledge where we currently are. So if you're feeling like I have a lot of stuff going on, I'm not sure where to focus. I don't really have clarity on what I need to be doing next or how I need to be doing it. Maybe you're feeling a little bit unmotivated or overwhelmed by the bigness of whatever it is that you're working on or just the tasks at hand. Let's first just pause for a minute, okay? Because A, you're not alone. And B, you are in more control than your mind wants you to believe that you are. Remember how I said control is a perception? Like your brain's job is to think and to keep you safe. And so when things are shifting or changing or there's new things coming in, your brain's like, excuse me, this is a little bit out of our routine. I'm going to fucking freak out because I don't know what to do in this situation. It's when you start to build awareness around those thoughts and feelings, right? Like, where are you feeling this in your body here today? What are the thoughts that are happening in your mind? Let's just bring some awareness back to your human self. When you do this, you start to take control back by getting into your conscious mind. You're only thinking with your like actual thinking brain, like 3 to 5% of your day. All the rest is subconscious. It's like happening in the background. It's white noise. And by simply pausing first and getting aware of the thoughts in your mind and the feelings in your body, you activate this shiznit out of your conscious mind. And it's from your conscious mind is where you are able to take a logical next step. Otherwise, it's like when you were a kid and you did that little trick where you challenged each other to spin around in circles as many times as you fucking can, and then everyone stops and then runs. Yeah, we know how that goes. People are falling over, you're running into shit, you're running into each other, like everything's fucking dazed and confused around you. Also, I don't know if anyone's told you, but our age does not want us to do that anymore, right? Like if I tried to do that right now, my body would be like, fuck you. This is stupid. Now we're going to be down for 3 days. I mean, I take pride in having fun and being silly, but there are just some things when our age is like, that ship has sailed. When you give yourself more than like a half a second to acknowledge yourself, then you take control back. Then you get in your conscious mind, and then you can logically move forward. So when you do this, this is the first thing that you do, my friend. When you start feeling all that craziness happening, it's like, whoop, nope. Laura said, this is the moment. This is when I need to check in with myself. Because I also want to say that when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's not always about pushing through. It's not always about making yourself. It's not always about plowing through your fucking list, right? Like sometimes you just need to honor what your body needs. And when you get aware of yourself, you're back into your body, you're back into your mind. The first thing you can ask yourself is, what do I need right now? Do I need rest? Do I need a break? My gosh, the power of like sitting outside or taking a 10-minute walk can change the trajectory of your entire fucking day. But if you're not stopping long enough to even acknowledge that, you're just plowing through and keeping that cycle going. So always first check in with yourself. What do I need right now? Sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you need to eat. Sometimes you need to get up out of your desk. Sometimes you need to get some air. Sometimes you need to just be done for the day. And that is okay. Once you have acknowledged and nurtured whatever it is that you need, the next thing to do is to get it out of your head. Look, so much of the extra stress, worry, overwhelm, overthinking, yeah, we're all familiar with that one, is from trying to remember everything. So if you're keeping a mental checklist, if you're trying to remember every single detail, all these dates, all these to-dos, the people I've got to call, the things I got to do in my business, like, it's no wonder you're fucking stressed out. One of the best things that you can do in this situation is to get it out of your head and onto paper. Put it in your notes section on your phone. Write it down on a fucking napkin if you're at a restaurant. It doesn't need to be pretty. You don't need to go to Staples to get a fancy journal. Because listen, I know you want to do that sometimes too. And if you want to, okay, but don't let that be the thing that stops you. And this can be messy. Okay. Like it doesn't have to be color coded and put in a perfect order and like strategize to death. No. What is running through your head? Conscious stream of thoughts. Just let it fucking diarrhea out of your brain and onto this piece of paper. The goal, the intent with this is to not have to remember it, to not have to take up all of that capacity. Do you remember when we used to use thumb drives and they came in like, I don't know, like 512 megabytes or some shit like that? And like you would get to the point where you're like, oh, I hope this file goes on there. Like, I don't have that much storage left. I'll see, I'll start to drag it on there. I'm going with the references of like our time here, my friends. But you know, that kind of feeling where like there's only so much space. Your brain kind of works the same way with holding on for information. The other analogy is like a sponge can only soak up so much water. This is part of the overwhelm where your brain's like, I'm holding all this. I got all this in my hands, but my hands are shaking and I feel like I'm going to drop something. And inevitably, something does often get dropped. You forgot to make that important phone call. You forgot to make that appointment. You forgot to send that email. And you're like, shit. You know, that's when you wake up at 2:00 in the morning and you think about every email that you were supposed to send in the last 10 fucking years. Write things down. Get them out of your head, because when they're out of your head, they are on something. You don't have to remember it. Now you have freed up capacity in your mind and also in your energy. Your energy field is big. And when you're like constantly hunkered down trying to hold on to everything, it pulls in your energy field. So we've acknowledged our body and our thoughts and our feelings. You've done what you needed to do. You've got that shit out of your head. Here's where the magic list comes into play. These are 3 questions that when you're in this moment that you can use as prompts to move forward. This is where you're going to gain the momentum. This is where you're going to gain the clarity. This is how you're going to get things moving again. And we often think that like small movements are insignificant when really that's the thing that starts the fucking engine. You've got this big goal. You've got this big list. You've got all of these things happening. Those things don't get done with one big ass swoop. They get done by taking smaller actions one at a time. So if you've not already, this is a perfect time to get a pen and paper. If you are driving, please do not write. Come back to this when it is safe to do so. The first question that I would like for you to answer for yourself is, what is one thing that I can finish today? We often start a bunch of things and then I like to call them like open tabs in my brain, right? Like I've just got too many fucking things lingering out in the world. These are often the things that you start but don't finish. You get going, but then you get interrupted. You think about, maybe you write it down, but then it doesn't really go anywhere. Well, much like trying to hold on to everything, every piece of information, unfinished tasks also take up capacity. And the funny thing with this is these things often don't take a shit ton of time, but they do take up a shit ton of energy. Needing to make the phone call, needing to schedule the appointment, needing to put the finishing touches on that PDF, needing to put the fucking laundry away. I mean, it shows up in just about every aspect of life. But if today, and maybe each day, you can focus on what is one thing that I can finish, what is one tab that I can close in my brain today, it is like an energy fucking rocket. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're not feeling about it anymore. You're not beating yourself up about it anymore. It's just like, it's just gone, literally fucking gone. And chances are it probably took you moments or will take you moments to do this task. So that is the first question. What is one thing that I can finish today? The second is, what is one decision that I can make today? So much of your energy is lost in the wavering of the gray space of the back and forth and should I, shouldn't I, maybe I could do this, don't do that. Holy mother black hole. Indecision is a creativity killer and it is a time fucker. Your mind really craves consistency and punctuation. So when you make a decision, that opens up so many channels for you to see things more clearly, to know which direction to go in, how to focus your time, money, or energy. Like, it allows you to either move forward or to close a chapter completely. How many decisions are things waiting on for you to make? Family situations, work situations, email questions. Like, I'm not saying get in and, answer 100 emails today, but I'm saying that there are likely some opportunities for you to decide on something. This can even be in the decision of adding something to your life, right? Like, recently I made a decision to start meditating every morning for 10 minutes. And I made the decision to do it in the way that works best for me. Before, I'm like, oh, I should meditate. Oh, I've heard things about meditation. And I'm like wavering, right? I'm back and forth and I'm thinking about it. It's taking up time and capacity. I'm just doing the damn thing now. There's no more thinking about it. There's no more energy expelling from this. I'm just simply doing it every day. And turns out it's pretty beneficial. I feel better because I'm not kicking my own ass because I'm not doing it. And I'm reaping the benefits that meditation give you, all because I made a decision. So I'll ask you, what is one decision that you can make today? And last but not least is the question of, what is one messy action that I can take that helps me achieve my bigger goal? You remember back in the beginning how I said that sometimes your dreams and your desires are so big, it's like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to start. I need to have all the who, what, when, where, why figured out before I do anything. Look, clarity comes from action. Clarity comes from embodiment. And when you can take one action at a time, commit to one singular thing, that not only opens up capacity in your brain and your body, but it also gives you direction and it helps you to know what to then do next. You don't have to have the whole thing figured out today. You don't have to launch the whole thing next week. You don't have to do the entire thing in 3 days, right? It doesn't have to be that way. That is the pressure that we put on ourselves. But I would bet that you could do one small thing today towards that. So what is your bigger goal? What is the thing that you're working towards right now? And what is one action that you can take? And I emphasize messy action. This is where you are taking one step forward without needing to know all of the answers. This is submitting an application online or clearing the clothes out of your closet that just drain your energy and make you feel like crap. This is renewing a subscription for something that you really need or canceling a subscription for some shit that you don't. This is making a phone call, finally recording the video, asking for help. Look, the momentum, the clarity, the confidence that you're looking for comes from you deciding and then moving and knowing that it's okay that you don't have to have it all figured out, but you're willing to give it a go by taking messy action, by moving forward, by entrusting in yourself and your abilities, and knowing that you are insanely fucking capable. I know that life and business can get kind of wonky and feel a little bit sideways, maybe more often than not, but you hold the power, my friend. That's why these are called Powerback episodes, to remind you of how much power you possess. The true question comes down to, are you willing to allow yourself to access it? Are you willing to step into this next chapter of your life? And are you willing to take messy action to get there? If you're ready to really, truly kickstart this next chapter of your life and you want to do it surrounded by like-minded women that support the shit out of you as you grow, go to LauraAura.com, sign up for the Mindfuckery workshop, and I'm going to see you really soon. If you're loving the Gutsy podcast and are taking wisdom and inspiration from it, I would so appreciate if you could go to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. It helps other listeners know what to expect and to help them have the success that you have had as well. Connect with me online. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram using @thatLauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.